Hi there, guys. This is Ren.
And this is Rue.
This is River. What's up, guys?
Look, now he's all afraid to talk.
I know. This is a special episode, so we have a special guest. It's my husband. Yay! Yay, everybody! He's a gift to the
Woo!
He's a gift to the world. So you're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah. So as
What an introduction.
it's beautiful. Oh, aren't we supposed to say? And this is Bish Dish.
Oh.
Well, we said it. So, anyways.
Well, we said it. Anyways.
As Don did said. Welcome to Bish Dish. So, in our last episode, you kind of got to see my love for true crime and true crime podcasting, even though, that was a little palate cleanser, a little fictional, allegedly, story for you guys. I actually wanted to try a real true crime podcast deep dive. So, I ran into the curious case of Natalia Grace, and it completely blew my mind. I watched the whole thing, and it's 2 seasons. I watched the whole thing twice, back to back, and the second time I was taking notes for you guys, so you don't have to spend like a whole day watching a whole series. And I'm so excited about it because it is literally batshit cuckoo bananas. And I thought it would be cool to pull my husband on here because it's just kind of what we do. He's very used to me like info dumping, like cases and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Usually it's murder cases, but this time you got lucky.
Did.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, Rue, I know you've seen a little bit, so you can help me tell the story.
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
I'm on the 3rd episode. So.
Look at you go, boo. All right. So I would feel like I'm not giving the case a proper introduction if I don't start with the Barnett family. So the Barnett family, they were the typical family that, I don't want to say had it all because that's so cliche. But Michael Barnett, which is the dad, he had all the sports cars. He really liked a luxury car. They lived in a McMansion, and I love that this case originates in Indiana because it would. We live kind of close to the state, and driving through it, it's one of those states where you're like, oh yeah, I could see a weird orphan thing
Weird orphan thing.
running around.
Oh my gosh.
Describing Natalia is not a weird.
I would like to retract my statement. Natalia is not a weird
Yeah.
running around.
No, we love Natalia. I wasn't referring to her or any people with dwarfism. So, anyways.
We were actually just talking about children.
Exactly. Right.
Weird little child demon thing.
Like Children of the Corn.
Oh gosh, nope.
Nope.
I don't know.
No Children of the Corn. Alright. So how about some Natalia and her family, Barnetts? We'll take that. So the Barnetts, like I said, they seem to have it all. They're really put together. How would you describe Michael Barnett, Ruru?
Sorry, Peaches like knocked something over and I was terrified for a second. I don't know. I don't like the way like when he's telling the story like through the docuseries, like he's like smiling the whole time.
Yeah, and he comes off
That kind of gave me the ick.
He comes off very, very disgenuine and like his delivery comes off overdone and dry.
Yeah.
Overdone and dry. I was trying to find it in my notes, but I literally have like a side note that says to describe Michael Barnett. He's a weird, weaselly, icky. Like I just threw in all the descripting words
He is.
like he just. I hate hearing him talk. I hate looking at his face. I don't know. He's just kind of like the worst part of the docuseries for me because he has so much time in it.
Yeah, I'm like, when is this dude gonna go away?
It's almost like he thinks it's his docuseries.
I
But
know,
his
right?
perspective is important, even though it's hard to rely on.
Yeah, because like in the episode I just watched, he got caught like in a lie. Like
Yeah.
he contradicted himself.
And he'll keep contradicting himself. That's a common theme you see there. I literally have that in my notes too. Christine Barnett, she's not at all in the docuseries. By the way, I'm breaking down the curious case of Natalia Grace. So basically, I'm going through what I see, and it's gonna sound like a deep dive, but I'm sure if you guys are interested in the case, you can find a lot more details. There's a lot to it. Anyways, so Christine Barnett, how would you describe her, Ruru?
Manipulative.
And gross. She's described to be beautiful and controlling and, like Rue said, manipulative. She thinks she's all that and she acts on it. We'll hear a lot more about her, but both her and Michael kind of give you the ick. They had a son named Jacob, and he was like a super duper genius. He was breezing through grades like it was absolutely nothing. You know, Mensa type score brains. He was doing TED Talks as a child. Could you imagine? I would love to do a TED Talk. I don't know what I'd talk about. Something TED-like, I guess.
Something Ted like. Ted the bear.
Oh, yeah, I'd
The
be
end.
good. I'd be good at that. I'd love to go on stage and talk like Ted the bear. So, this perfect type family, you know, sports car driving husband, red stip red lipstick, wearing blonde, and then you have your genius son. Christine was so proud of her son's accomplishments that she started writing a book about it. And I think this is what kind of inspired her and Michael to look towards adoption. They really wanted to adopt internationally, especially like kids with special needs. She was working on a second book, and she really, really wanted the other person she adopted to be as smart as Michael, and she felt like she could do it.
What was the first book on?
It was on,
Anything relevant?
I said Michael before. It's Jacob.
Oh, okay.
She wrote the book about Jacob. So, yeah, she wanted another mini Jacob, and they had tried to adopt children before, and it didn't work out, like this little girl from Haiti that they were looking at.
Is that why they wanted disabled people?
Yeah.
Like they were hoping to get somebody like autistic?
Maybe. I think so, because she does speak on autism, and we do know that a lot of autistic people have like super crazy smart brains that can do things that we can't, like math.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Exactly. Preach.
yeah. So they say that out of the blue, after trying to adopt, and one thing I was gonna say about the adoption, kind of the whole thing you have to go through, it usually takes a long time. There's a lot of red tape, and that's why the girl in Haiti didn't work. But with Natalia, Michael claims to get a call out of nowhere from this orphanage called Adoption by Shepherd Care. And they were just kind of like, hey, we knew you wanted to adopt. How about this child? If you want this child who has dwarfism and she's really cute, then get back to us immediately because, you know, this has to be fast, which is weird because adoption takes a really long time. Like I said, all the red tape. Michael says that he never met Natalia's like family, like the adopted family that she was coming from. He says that he never met Natalia before adopting her, and that when they flew all the way to Florida to go to adoption by Shepherd Care, it was like a small little adoption agency in the middle of like a bad neighborhood next to like what is it called?
It was in an abandoned strip mall.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just like a house kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very just off-putting. So they go there and they say that they're put in a room and they hear the adoptive family and Natalia go into the other room. And he says that him and the boys, they have 3 sons, by the way. Jacob's the oldest. They always wanted a girl, which is why they're adopting, you know, Natalia. They said like they put glasses on the walls to like try to hear what she sounded like and everything. Like that's how invested they were. And finally Natalia comes in, and Michael says, she goes, "Mommy, Daddy," which is strange because she talked like an adult. Like, she was very articulate. She didn't have any accent, and she spoke like normal language. There was no broken language. She was supposed to be 6, and she could hold like a whole conversation with you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So for her to start out Mommy, Daddy is a bit strange. After the adoption, they went to Disney World. That's the one in Florida, right? Disney
Right
World.
after, or is she, like,
Yeah, right after, because they were in Florida. They're from Indiana. So they're like, while we're here and we have our new daughter, let's check out Disney World.
huh.
Yeah. So one strange thing about Michael saying that he never met the parents is because, and we kind of know he did, because there's no way, But they go to Disney World, and Natalia spots her adopted family, like her previous one. And she goes, "That's Mom." And then Christine Barnett, the mom, says, "I'm your mom."
I was gonna say, what happened to the whole mommy, daddy?
I know.
That is.
Isn't that something? So they take her back to the hotel room, and Christine gives her a bath. And she starts screaming. And she starts going, Michael, come here right now." So Michael comes in the bathroom, and he's like, "What?" And Christine's like, "Look down." So he looks down at the naked Natalia, which is weird. And they see pubic hair. Yeah.
About that.
They didn't know how to interact, like what to do. Like they didn't know how to respond, basically. So they were like, okay, regardless, she's obviously a little girl. Maybe she has some kind of like additional disability, like a Benjamin Button kind of thing. So they're like, okay, when we go back to Indiana, we'll take her to the doctor. It's fine. So they get back to Indiana, and one day Christine, for whatever reason, I don't remember if she was washing her underwear or like helping her dress, because she does need help, but she noticed blood. She was having her period. And when like confronted with this, she's like, "No, I didn't have my period." And then she's like, "No, you are, and you're hiding it." And I guess later on, Christine says that she admits that she was hiding it, and she was hiding it by eating it.
She's supposed to be how old?
6.
She was also taking socks and like using them as makeshift pads and then throwing them out the window.
Yeah, she was using socks. But Natalia tells the story differently. So, what Natalia says is that she was in the bathroom, and Christine was in there with her, and she said that she was bleeding and having her period. She said that there was no blood. And then Christine said, "Yes, there is, and you need a tampon." So Christine was screaming at her to put the tampon in, and she couldn't do it, and it hurt. And like she was like, "You gotta get it." Like, she was just berating. That's one thing about Christine. She's caught on phone calls and stuff. She doesn't appear in the documentary because, of course, she wouldn't. But she's very, very mean and loud and demanding. And she was screaming at her to get the tampon in, and she did eventually. But by that time, she was bleeding because of the force
Oh my gosh.
and because of
Right.
maybe a broken hymen.
Oh,
I don't know.
no, no.
Yeah. So,
Jesus.
Isn't that wild? They did end up taking her to doctors. 2 of them that she went to said, like, she is between the age of, like, 6 and 9. She took her to the dentist even to get her mouth x-rayed to see, like, the age through, like, how many baby teeth is still there.
Were they?
And she had 11 baby teeth, and the dentist placed her between 6 and 9.
Okay.
Yeah. Things really escalated in the house. So Natalia was acting up and stuff. She liked to fart on the boys. Michael said that sometimes she pooped on purpose beside them.
Oh. Oh, James.
Yeah. Yeah.
And would rub it on them.
She would like rub it on them. She kind of peed whenever she wanted.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that's related to like being spiteful or having issues, but yeah, she was a peer. To the point where Christine, as a form of like punishment to this, She made her eldest son, Jacob, pee in her bed.
Like, well, like with her in it, or like her, like.
No. I don't know if they made her sleep in it. I think they probably did. I don't know if she was on the bed.
Like, did she know that was happening, or like she was sleeping?
I don't know. They just said made him pee on the bed. He was 12. She was allegedly 6. Christine was a strange woman.
Yeah.
And very strange. So things escalated, like I said. Michael claims that one of the things that she would do to spite the boys was she would like steal their favorite Hot Wheels and she'd hold on to them, and then when they were crossing the street she would like flash it to him in her hand and then purposely drop it in the middle of the street so they would double back and possibly get hit by a car.
What?
Yeah, that's what Michael said.
Okay, so she's supposedly 6, and then the boys are. What are the ages of the boys?
I only know that around this time Jacob is 12. The 2 are
And the
young.
youngest was
The
6.
youngest was 6.
And they had like their birthday was in the same month and the same year, so they were really excited to have her
Yeah.
because then they could grow up together and stuff and be like twins. That's what she
Oh
said.
yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Good job.
I don't
Yeah.
know about the other one though.
Me
The
neither.
middle.
Michael said they started finding knives around the house, like under her mattress, under the refrigerator, under couch cushions.
What kind of knives? Steak knives? I mean, how many knives does the family have?
I'm not sure. He said that one night he woke up and Natalia was at like the end of his bed with a knife. He said he was like, Natalia, what are you doing? And she said, I don't know.
Wait, if these are like on a counter or a drawer, I'm confused. Well, not confused. I mean, you have those standard like
Right.
block
Yes.
looking knife sets, right? That sit on a
Yeah.
counter, and if she's has dwarfism, like how tall is she actually?
That's the part of the mystery. So
Maybe
she's 3
Oh,
feet.
I didn't think about that.
She was 3 feet. Even so, they hung their knives on the wall. They hung them up out of the reach of even the boys.
This was before. Okay, before too, right?
Yes, this is how it always has been.
Okay.
So even if she got on a chair and got on the counter, she could still not reach them. And the bed, so it's kind of described like a sleigh bed
Mm.
with like a higher end. And Natalia, if she was standing a few feet back, like he said, she would only be able to see the top of his head.
Dang.
And another thing is, so she has dwarfism, and her hands aren't like ours. They don't have the extra knuckle. So when she grips the knife, she has to go like this. She can't have a proper, she can't wrap her hand around it. It's like straight out. So holding a knife is incredibly unstable. Like if she tried to stab you, she'd probably drop it at the same time.
What about uh like drinking? I mean, did they feed her, or did she?
So she would go like
2 hands. Oh,
2
oh,
hands.
that part. Never mind.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
She's a 2-hand.
Okay.
Eventually, things got pretty wild. For one of the kids' birthday, they went to a cow farm in Indianapolis, like a milk your own cow kind of thing. Apparently, he was obsessed with cows. I never heard of this. That's wild. Milk your own cow.
Good bit of the places though.
Yeah. I think I'm wearing cow printed underwear right now, actually. Moo, bitch.
We got.
Moo, bitch. Get out the way. Like,
Oh,
yeah, that's what that cow be saying next. Because listen,
you know what image popped in my head? It's literally
what?
from the show that we watched.
What do we watch?
The one with what's his? I can't remember his name. The resident alien one, and he's just like he's in alien form, and he's like down under.
Yeah.
Just
Oh my
sucking off the
gosh. I really plugged that show, Resident Alien. Okay, we're going on a side dish. So that's what we're calling our derails now because we have so many. So Resident Alien is amazing. Please watch it. This alien, he loves milk and he'll just get right under cows. But anyways, he would love this farm. He would live for it.
Oh gosh.
So they go to this farm, and when they go to the farm, the farm people are like, "Hey, you got to sign this waiver because we have an electric fence. And if you get hurt, that's on you, not us."
Okay.
So Michael says Natalia's eyes lit up. He has many accounts of this and they change. We see at least 2 in the documentary.
And if she's 6, she wouldn't even understand or begin to understand what electric fence is,
Right.
right?
Right. So they start walking through the pasture, and they're walking quite a bit, especially for, a 3-foot tall person with dwarfism. And she says that she didn't have the proper shoes, which she didn't. There's a lot of video that shows that she has worn down Walmarty type shoes. And the thing about people with dwarfism is they walk on like the top part of their feet, like the balls of their feet.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah. So like that part wears really quick. They're supposed to wear like these special shoes or boots that have like a lot of padding and they don't wear down. It helps protect their feet. She said that Christine hadn't fed her anything that day and the heat was making her sick. And she had to sit down. So she sat down and it was a few feet away from the electric fence. Christine told the boys to go ahead and go milk the cows, which is weird. And she reportedly sat down beside Natalia until they were out of sight. Then she gets up and she offers Natalia her hand and says, "Get up." And Natalia takes her hand and Christine dramatically falls. Then she starts screaming that Natalia's trying to throw her in the fence. 3 feet, Natalia.
What were they doing that close to the fence anyways?
I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
That's bad
But the
parenting.
fence, the funny thing is, the fence wasn't even on that day because the cows
No.
were in a different spot.
Yeah, they weren't on. And she's screaming that Natalia's trying to throw her in the fence. And
In
so
front of people.
in front, oh yeah, she's making a scene. But the thing is these people actually kind of saw what happened. Police were called. Ambulance was called. She was taken away by the ambulance to a mental hospital. But the people who were there and saw it said that they didn't see anything like what they said happened. And Natalia didn't seem like she was trying to throw her anywhere. And if anything, Christine seemed to be the problem and she was making things worse. One of the people that worked there said that he didn't really want to deal with her. Like she was one of those people he wouldn't want to have to talk to, and he was glad the police were there to talk to her.
You said she was trying to pull her to the fence,
That's what the Christine said.
but she can't even grab a knife.
Yeah.
I could see her maybe
Mhm.
trying to push her.
Yeah.
Pulling that doesn't make any sense.
Michael said in his first storytelling of the story that he heard Natalia yelling, "I'm gonna kill you, bitch, fuck you, I'm gonna kill you," like going off. And then when they asked the worker about it, same worker, he said that he didn't hear that.
Mhm.
Like he doesn't remember hearing that. And he's like, I don't have a good memory, but I would remember that. When he told that story again, he said he didn't hear anything because they were too far.
Yeah. By the time they reached it, she was already in the ambulance.
Yeah, but that's not what he said at first. So it's
Yeah.
like,
He had a lot of recanted and changed statements. Michael was a person you definitely couldn't trust what he said.
So who called the
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who called the police.
I think she did. I think the
I
mom
think
did.
she did. Yeah.
That's what Natalia said when she told her side.
Yeah. So Natalia goes to the mental institution and she's initially put in the children's wing. When they discovered her pubic hair, they put her in the adult wing.
Oh, no way. What?
I know.
Okay.
There's a
You
lot of
develop pubic hair before you're an adult. I don't.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. I think maybe Christine had talked to them beforehand with the crazy idea that she's older and already put it in their minds. And then when she was acting hypersexual towards the male people, it kind of hit that home. Apparently, she was soliciting.
Wait, what?
Yeah. She was being a creepy creep. But the problem was is she was in a mental hospital, okay? And the men that are usually in mental hospitals, not all, but I'm sure there's a percentage here, they don't play nice with kids. They have different ideas of fun with kids. And even if she was an adult, she looks like a kid. So they called up Michael and they were like, "Oh, hey, so your daughter is a diagnosed sociopath." This is what Michael says. "And she needs to be in inpatient care, but we cannot have her anymore. You have to take her back." And he's like, "Well, I mean, what do I do? She's like, violent, you know, sociopath. You said she need inpatient. Like, they're like, I don't know. Figure it out. This is all paraphrasing.
Okay.
Christine has been on a master mission. Even though she was proven to be a child, Christine somehow got her family doctor to sign off on a thing that said that she was actually 22. And then she showed it to the judge, and the judge was like, oh, cool, she's 22.
No way.
But they legally changed her age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
So, with the age change, Christine got her an apartment in Westfield, Indiana. Dropped her off there. It was a one floor little apartment. The amenities were adult size. So, and she left her there alone. Michael or Christine, never both, would come and visit her and sometimes drop off groceries and yell at her and berate her and then leave. So imagine being a kid and being dropped off alone in an apartment that had the bare necessities, barely getting groceries, being lonely and bored. What would you do?
Um, Probably found myself wandering outside.
Exactly. That's exactly what she did. She was wandering outside and she wanted to talk to people. At first, the neighbors were, you know, very welcoming,
Mhm.
but there's a thing about kids and boundaries. So once she felt like she made a friend, every time she would see him outside, she'd beeline. She was a talkative creature. So, like, it was a matter of sometimes they'd look out the window before they left just to see if they could see Natalia because they wanted to avoid her.
Oh.
If she got too close to you, she would just walk into your house whether you're there or not. This was a really safe place in Indiana. So they didn't really feel a need to lock their doors, but they did after Natalia came in.
Oh,
Yeah. One of the neighbors who would let her inside sometimes said that every time she came in, she would pick up stuff and look around like she was casing the joint. Later on, Natalia admits that she stole in her youth.
man.
Allegations got weirder. So people in the neighborhood started noticing that she really liked to play with young boys.
No way. No.
Yeah. And sometimes even grown men.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There's this one incident that was witnessed by two of the neighbors where she was rolling around in the grass with a boy and she tries to unzip his pants.
Seriously?
Yeah, well, that's what they said. Natalia said it never happened like that. They just had a tickle fight, which is still kind of weird. Neighbors started calling the front office with complaints, and they were doing it all year, really.
Did the neighbors know the parents?
I love this question. No. So they would only see them. They would see Michael come by in a sports car, drop off groceries, leave like 15 minutes later. Christine barely ever came. And when she did, it was pretty mean. There is this one account, and I think this was in the Westfield apartment. Natalia says that she was forced to take a lot of medication for her supposed mental illnesses. And one day she woke up in her apartment and she took her medication, but she fell back to sleep because it made her sleepy. Then all of a sudden, Christine comes into the apartment and wakes her up and starts screaming, did you take your medication? You're sleeping in so late. What are you doing? Take your medication. She said, I took my medication. She said, I don't believe you, take your medication, and handed like the medley of 3 different psych pills. Yes.
So she took a second set of
Uh-huh.
medication?
The thing is when she did, Christine turned her head, and then she turned back. And then she said, did you take your meds? Where are they? She's like, I took them. She's like, I don't believe you.
Oh
Take your
my
meds.
gosh, no way.
Yeah. She left pretty quickly after that. And Natalia counts trying to go to the bathroom, but stumbling and falling and not being able to make it. I do believe this.
Why do I feel like her doing that is like a common theme? Like her doing stuff like that, like with the whole coffee and the pledge incident
Yeah. Yeah.
when she left and then came back and was like, "You poisoned my coffee." And then now this time she looked away for a second. You didn't take your medicine. Like it seems like she does stuff like that to like be able to gaslight her.
Yeah. So she's big on the gaslighting for sure.
Are there any details like on the just an apartment, right?
Yeah.
Is she like first floor apartment?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Until all these phone calls start going to the head building. And then the allegations toward the kids went to the head office as well. They decided that they could not renew her lease. So what Christine does is finds an apartment for her in Lafayette, Indiana.
First apartment was like near the what was where they first lived?
Westfield, yes.
Westfield. So crap, that's even farther.
Yeah, and this is so bad. Christine is quoted as, well, she texts Michael and she's like, I got her an apartment in Lafayette. It's perfect because if anything ever happened to her, nobody would care. And she says it's white trash. Nobody would
Oh my
care.
gosh.
This apartment was a second floor apartment.
No way.
Yeah.
Can she even go up and downstairs?
Yeah, but it's a lot of climb. And the problem is there's 13 cement steps just to get to the front door. Then she opens the door and there's more steps to crawl to. And by the time she gets to her door, she's exhausted. Neighbors reported that the electricity would often not be paid and that they barely ever brought groceries. It wasn't until the neighbors started taking notice that they started bringing groceries. They were weird with like filming themselves in incriminating ways. So whenever they thought Natalia was doing something wrong, they'd film like the conversation or the discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So one time, and this is on tape, Michael comes in and he starts noticing donuts. He's like, I didn't buy you those donuts. Where'd you get donuts? Where'd you get donuts? Sometimes the neighbors would like take her to the store and stuff, or like feed her. They felt bad for her. But both in Westfield and Lafayette, they were worried about like what she would say to the neighbors. Christine trained her to say, Hi, I'm Natalia. I know I look young, but I'm actually 22. She trained her to tell everybody that she was violent and that she did the thing with the knife and she allegedly tried to poison her mom. There's a story before she went to the mental hospital where Natalia was in a good mood in the morning and she asked Christine if she needed help with the dishes because she was doing dishes at the time. And Christine leaves the room briefly, and at this point, like they're wiping down counters and stuff. It's like got a bottle of polish. Christine says pledge, but it's like a polish bottle where you spray and you wipe down.
Yeah.
Christine comes back and says, My coffee smells and tastes like pledge. What did you do? Show me what you did. Show me what you did. You poisoned my coffee. She forced her hand on the coffee cup. She forced her hand on the pledge and took a picture.
I thought you were gonna say the video and everything, but yeah.
No, I think it could have been a video. I'm not sure, but she tried to get something incriminating. She was trying to prove that she was violent. So the neighbors in Lafayette were really, really worried about her. And multiple called CPS. In Westfield, CPS was also called. Not much was done, but once it was filed in Lafayette, shit hit the fan. There was a police detective who was really not fucking around about Natalia, who truly believed Natalia was a manipulated, brainwashed child. So he was determined to find the truth and like punish them, bring justice to it all. At this time, they were in Canada because their son Jacob was going to a special school there. Michael came back to the US because apparently, okay, there was this thing that had happened. And it's kind of like the pledge thing, really. It shows Christine's consistency with manipulation.
Mhm.
Michael, Christine, and the kids were in the car. And Christine, you know that thing that narcissists do where they work you up, they poke you and they poke you and try to get you to explode to prove that you're the crazy one?
Yeah.
So she was doing that. She was like a really bad nagger and she'd talk over you. There's a lot of recorded conversations. She's a gross person. So she was doing that and Michael says, "You need to stop. I will kill you. If you don't stop, I will kill you. You need to stop, I will kill you." So she's going on and she starts recording it and she turns to her children and she says, "You hear that? Daddy wants to kill you, but it's okay. I will protect you, I promise. Daddy just wants to kill you." She went to police detectives. They separated and he went back to the US. And the whole time she was showing the video to the kids.
So right now you're telling me that like husband and wife are going at it against each other? Is that what? Or maybe.
It's about to be.
Okay.
Because he goes to the US, they file for divorce, but around the same time, there's a warrant out for their arrest for 2 counts of child neglect and abuse.
Oh damn. That's a.
Christine's in Canada. And the reason why I think she wanted Michael to go back to the US is not because of any harassment. I think it's because If something happened to Natalia and Lafayette, Michael would be accountable. And she could just be like, oh, I was in Canada with the other kids. So it'd fall on him. That was her logic. I don't know if it was good logic.
Did she
So
only
who put
take
in
the two younger
report for?
kids?
No, so it was for a school for Jacob, but when Jacob grew up, he ended up moving in with his father.
Oh.
But the child neglect part.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
because she was left in an apartment. And here's the thing, child or not, and this is a hole in their theory, and they didn't think about this. Child or not, when you adopt a person, you're responsible for them until age 21. That's why they made it 22. But when you're disabled,
Oh,
they're responsible for life.
oh, I get that. Okay. I was like confused. I was like, how
Yeah.
when they said that they placed her as a full. I get you now. All right.
When the trial actually comes up, the judge says that they can't bring age into it at all. So there's a lot that they couldn't say.
Man.
Yeah. So Natalia ends up going missing in Lafayette. So there was a GED school she was supposed to go to, which is in walking distance for a regular person, but probably like a marathon for Natalia.
Yeah, for sure.
She went to every class until she didn't, and the GED place reached out to Michael, and nobody knew where she was until the police found her with the man's family. So, again, I'm going to tell you guys to watch the docuseries, look into it yourself because I'm not even reading my notes right now. I'm probably missing a lot of stuff. But yeah, so the Mans family. The dad, Antonio Mans, he is a bishop. They're a God-fearing family, stay-at-home mom. They noticed Natalia and her situation and they took her in. But the thing is, Michael said immediately after them taking her in, they took her to the grocery store to buy groceries for the house she was now staying in. She immediately made Natalia make her the rep payee for her Social Security money. But
Okay.
so you can kind of rationalize these things, right? Like she's living there, but here's the thing you can't rationalize. The apartment was still being paid for by Michael. He did not know at all where, like, she wasn't in her apartment. Electricity and other things were being paid, kind of. So the Mans, knowing that this was empty, they were sublighting the apartment, taking all the money, telling people they can move in.
Oh.
Yeah, they were renting out her apartment.
While also
Was she aware?
taking her money away from her.
Yeah, taking her money, not letting her have any of the sublet money. Natalia, though, loved the Mans family. They petitioned for guardianship many times, but they didn't get it, so later they would try to seek adoption. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Natalia, she was aware of all that was happening?
I think it's a matter of feeling like she owes the man something. When you're abused and you're not used to getting much from somebody, and then somebody starts taking care of you, I can't speak for everybody, but I've kind of felt that way to where you feel like you have to overcompensate and give them anything you can.
So, what's the timeline like at this point? I mean,
Yeah.
since adopted to
He's asking all
now,
the same
like,
questions I was.
Yeah, I love these questions. So we're going to go with what her birth certificate says because ages are weird here. So adopted at 6, apartment just turning 8. And then I believe she's 9 or 10 in Lafayette, something like that. This was a short period of time.
man.
It's very confusing. Numbers is the number one most confusing thing in this docuseries, and that says something because everything is confusing. Nobody is black or white. So the trial is happening for Michael. He's looking at 16 years in prison for neglect of a disabled person.
Jeez.
Kind of weird though, because the judge seems biased. He makes all these rules like because she's an adult at the age of the trial, the age doesn't matter, so none of that stuff can be brought up. Her age changing or anything, it can't be brought up.
You think they bribed him too?
Yeah, I think they bribed everybody.
Yeah.
They had the money. Which this is really weird. This is a weird, funny part. So Michael says at that time he's going through the divorce, he's going through his trial, and he has nothing. Nothing left. But he's living in that McMansion, their family home. And he says, I don't have any nice cars anymore, and he's standing beside a nice car, and he's like, it doesn't run. But here's the crazy thing. He shows up to the trial in the most beautiful, sexy-ass car I've ever seen in my life.
What?
It's like, I love this car. Beautiful, white, sleek luxury. She's a sexy bitch. So you're trying to say that you lost everything, you're the sad, weak man, you don't have anything, but you're living in a mansion and hiding away this beautiful white luxury car. And I'm like, is he stupid? Like, why would you go to your trial in that sexy beast?
Yeah, seriously.
Doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. I can't. That makes sense. So it gets deeper weird. The trial commences. Right? That's what they say when it starts. I don't know. The trial starts. And so they're being tried separately. So there's Michael. Michael's first, and then there's Christine. They think they broke them up because of the divorce. Michael is throwing Christine under the bus and giving them all this information to incriminate Christine.
They turn on each other.
Oh, they sure are.
Dang.
It's more of like, so Michael turns on Christine and blames Christine for everything. Christine blames everything on Natalia, but she has like allegations like they were sleeping together, which both had extreme reactions when they heard this.
There's no way.
Yeah, there is no way it didn't happen.
Oh my god.
But the weird thing that did happen, okay, so when she was still living at their home and she was 6, 7 years old, and Christine was trying to push the narrative that she was 22. And she was telling people to say that she was 22.
Yeah.
Christine started putting makeup on her. So while they were investigating both of them, they found that Christine was having multiple affairs. And not only that, but she reached out to this musician with the same kind of dwarfism. He was like a middle-aged man. She was flirting with him, saying, "Oh my god, you're so sexy," sending him like all these provocative pictures. They were like sexting.
What?
Mhm. And then she says, "I'd really like you to go out with my daughter, Natalia."
What is she doing?
I think she's doing everything she can to push the narrative that she's an adult.
Oh god.
Even though this whole time she knows she's a child. That's the sick part. So yeah, it gets so much weirder. The trial happens, and because of the weird limitations and parameters the judge set around the case, he was found not guilty. The floor person who was there when the jury was like doing their thing, she said there wasn't a single juror in the room who thought he was not guilty. They all thought he was guilty. But because of the restrictions that the judge put, and like he put strict instructions on what they should focus on in order to find verdicts,
What?
they were forced to say not guilty. But every single one of them thought he was guilty AF. And you want to hear something even greater? Christine's case was dropped for lack of insufficient evidence, lack of evidence.
Man.
So the whole time she was with the man's family, through the trial and everything, and they really supported her. They were a great family. Like I said, they went for adoption, and guess what?
They got it?
They got it.
Man.
Yeah, isn't it a happy ending? I know.
Yeah.
Except I'm lying.
Oh, what?
Well, okay. The adoption did happen.
Okay.
I have to pull my notes back out for this. 'cause
Adoption
this is
happened, but
great.
no happy ending? Just
This is so great. So the docu-series producers and everything, they thought the story was over. It had this great, wonderful ending with the adoption. Well,
oh gosh.
well. Oh, yeah, it's juicy for sure.
Juicy.
I want to get the exact quotes. 6 months after the adoption and 2 weeks before the premiere of the docu-series, the producers get a phone call from the man's parents.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. So,
What?
yes, Antonio Mans is quoting, and this is verbatim. This is his quotes. He goes, "Something ain't right with Natalia. The girl is tweaking. I feel like she is the enemy in the house, and she said to us we held her hostage, making us look like we're the enemy. She's done other things too, but this is a new low. Natalia does not have emotions for nothing but herself. We are done. We are done with her. Cynthia was also on the call, and she was quoted as saying, Natalia has stabbed her family in the back over something that, like, is not true. Something that is a lie. A complete lie, she said. And then she agreed with Antonio that the family is done with her. There's a
Wait,
third season.
no, wait. There's so much room. I mean, because so much has been going in I forget
Just a bunch of
in
stuff,
their
so
favor.
give me all questions.
So I'm beginning to think a lot of people are being like paid off or something. Like, do you think maybe he went to the family and say, "Hey, I need you to spit up all this, all these lies and."
Well, okay, so here's something interesting that you would probably want to know. Natalia was violent in every house she was in, including the man's family. So before they adopted her, right when they took her in when she was younger, apparently the parents weren't in the room, and for no reason, Natalia bit their baby really hard. Bruising and bleeding happened. They sent her to the hospital to be inpatient again, and the hospital received a letter signed by the man's family saying that they did not want her back. She was not welcome in the home once she's released to
Wait,
find somewhere else. It was signed by the man's family, but Cynthia Mann said this never happened and says she suspects Christine wrote the letter.
oh, no way.
I don't know. Because the man's family, and this is opinion, okay? Do not sue me. Allegedly, the man's family come off kind of strange to me. It's almost as if this happened and they sent her to the mental hospital to, like, leave her there, and they truly stood on the fact that they didn't want her around. But then maybe they realized she had news reporters and docuseries people buzzing around them. And maybe the Bishop Antonio dad wanted to have the same kind of sainthood label that Christine did.
I can see that. I can see that. Hmm.
Yeah. So a lot happened. So, and I know I missed some gaps. Any questions about the Westfield apartment? So,
Oh, you forgot to mention her having to sleep outside.
yeah, I missed a few things. So, when she came back from the mental hospital, after the cow thing, so before all the apartments and stuff, this is the first time. I missed a lot of what Christine did. She brutally beat this girl. She pepper sprayed her many times. The first time she pepper sprayed her was just so she knows what it feels like, so she won't be bad.
So, do they not have any like prior information from the last foster?
They said not really.
They
So
found a tag in her bag.
yeah, they knew where she came from,
Hmm.
but the previous family that tried to adopt Natalia,
Hmm.
they requested mental evaluation, and the person who had her declined. And there, in each of those houses, there's like violent offenses.
They're just trying to get rid of her.
Yeah.
Get rid of her.
Yeah, and it's really sad because at the end of the day, she's an abused girl. When she was a child, there's a video of her talking to like a police counselor type person, and she recounts how she was raped in the Ukraine. I believe that she was human trafficked, especially with how her birth happened. So Anna Gaba was later tracked down to be her mom. She lived in the Ukraine, and I don't think she's an awful person. So she never went to the hospital. When Natalia came out and she had dwarfism, the doctors around her pressured her and told her that you can't afford somebody with disability like this. They need special care. And they were pressuring her and she signed papers and the baby was whisked away. And I kind of feel like there were some shady people in that hospital and maybe like they saw money signs because there's nothing white people love more than, you know, saving, like having a cute tiny thing you have to save, like a pug puppy.
Hmm.
Her mom's actually really sweet. And here's one thing that threw the agent a question at first. Because when they tracked down Anagaba, she said, she kind of went off on the people trying to talk to her, and she said, I've been dealing with this for like X amount of years. And it aligned with her birth certificate. If Natalia was 22, it means that she would have had to have her at age 10, which is not possible, especially because she has an older daughter. I'm like, I gotta remind everybody the whole time. Everybody knew. But going to the outside incident, Christine was crazy about discipline. She really was.
Yeah.
Michael reported that Christine would berate her daily about how old she is, where she's from, and everyone she stayed with. She's really trying to nail in that you're an adult and you're gonna admit it. And she, for one, her past was all trauma. And for two, she doesn't have the information Christine wants to hear. So she would mostly remain silent and be like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. So she would make this small person with fragile bones stand in the corner with her nose to the wall. Michael said the longest he remembers is 8 hours until it became nighttime. So instead of being by the wall, she sent her outside and CPS was called.
Gee.
But the weird thing about that is the police came and they emphasized with the family, like the parents. Because they were saying, "Oh, I adopted, this child, but she's not a child. She's a con woman."
Mm-hmm.
And they started looking into her. That's how they found Inagava. But the CPS people, I mean, they still looked in and dug in. They asked them the basic questions. They asked them if they ever had like domestic violence cases. And they said that they hadn't, but if the CPS people would have done their job and actually look it up, they would see domestic violence cases and other cases related to violence with Michael.
Mm.
One of the domestic violence reports said that when the officers arrived, he had Christine in a headlock. And this was in 2003, the same year
Oh,
that I think Natalia was born. Yeah. They had a history.
jeez.
They had a history.
There's so much this
There is so much. Like, I missed so much.
spider web of things. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's a lot. Oh, wait. Oh, Rue. Guess what I forgot?
Hmm.
I forgot what happened at Westfield Apartments.
What happened?
What happened was Natalia called the police multiple times
Oh, yeah.
on herself. Yeah, let me find my notes. Alrighty. Because we're gonna want these direct
I
quotes.
mean, this thing shouldn't have any form of communication. Like,
Like she was dead.
landline, cell phone, nothing.
There were times she had a cell phone, and when they would come in to visit her, they would wipe her contacts.
Hmm.
So she couldn't, like, talk to people and incriminate them.
Dang, dude.
And then at some points, they took it away completely, like in the Lafayette Apartments. So she couldn't call for help if she fell down the stairs. But anyways, she calls the police in the Westfield apartment, her first one. She goes, this is direct quotes from the call. I am stalking one of my neighbors. I want to hurt them. I'm afraid of what might happen if someone doesn't help me.
Jeez.
I know. She called another time. She claimed that she was going to burn down her whole apartment building using the microwave.
I don't know if I feel bad for her or if I don't. It's not like I don't know if it's just from her being alone for so long
Mm-hmm.
that she's just going cuckoo.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't need. Oh goodness.
Everyone in here is sticky. The only person that I think never told the lie in the docuseries
Mm-hmm.
was Jacob. But something kind of hilarious happened with Jacob. So Jacob moved in with his dad, right?
Mm.
And he was backing his dad in trial and everything. They were interviewing Jacob in his room. And they keep trying to ask him about any violence that Christine did against Natalia. And he shut it down really quickly. He said, my mom is in no way innocent, but I don't wish to incriminate her more. They tried to press, saying like the truth matters. And he shut the interview down completely. But Mr. Genius Jacob, super genius,
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize his mic was still on. And he went to go talk to his dad. And him and his dad is talking about what they agreed and, that they were and we're not going to talk about. And Michael is saying, like, you can talk about these things. I talked about the stair incident. And then Jacob goes, I thought we agreed to not talk about when mom threw Natalia down the stairs.
Oh shoot.
I still think he did it on purpose.
Yeah, we think he did it on purpose. Because, like, I think that he did believe that the truth should come out,
Mhm.
but he didn't want his mom to be hurt.
Mhm.
So, like, he indirectly, like, it was an accident. It wasn't me, mom. Like, I wouldn't do that to you on purpose. Because he's a genius. He's like a mental level genius.
I gotcha.
But he seems to be on the spectrum. I don't want to make assumptions, but he reminds me of a lot of people.
I think Michael said in the beginning that he was on the spectrum.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I think we all can agree on is Christine is an absolute monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
She would beat like she's this 3 foot tall, and like let's say she did hide knives around.
Mhm.
If you're being beaten, you would probably want something around for self-protection. She was okay before she was adopted into the Barnett family.
Mhm.
She was diagnosed with I think it was called reactive attachment disorder, which a lot of orphans get, a lot of abused kids get. It's basically when they build a wall that you can't penetrate because they've been so traumatized and hurt, and they tend to act out, and it's hard for them to get close
Okay.
to their adoptive parents. I mean, it could be like a way of building a wall, like stay away from me.
True. I can see that.
Oh, you forgot my favorite part.
Oh, what is that?
The whining part.
Oh my god. So, Michael Barnett, a man with the most punchable face in the world. If I have any pet peeves at all, if there's anything in the world that brings my temper high immediately and just I lose control, is when grown men whine.
Oh, is he a whiner?
He's a whiner.
No.
And his whole thing was, okay, this is him. I'm being him and I'm pretty good at it. I just couldn't like stand up to her. She was so scary and I knew what she was doing is wrong. And she was beating Natalia, but I was so scared.
He could have said that in a normal voice.
Yeah. He was, crying. He cried a lot. He's a crier.
Mm-mm.
I'm a
Mm,
crier, but damn.
yeah. You could be a crier, but not a whiner.
Right.
Whining stops at 6.
Mm.
That's what I tell my kids. Whining stops at 6. You're too old. We don't whine. We say things with our chest. Yeah.
You'll find me walking off. I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Like, we don't deal with that whiny shit.
Right. Quiet. Whining. Mm-mm.
I'm trying to remember if I forgot anything. Any questions?
Mm. Nope. I was taking one side and I'm not taking any side.
Yeah, you really can't take any sides. I don't think anybody in this whole thing is innocent.
Yeah, I agree. I think they all played a good part in something.
Oh,
It's a lot.
I forgot the most important part actually.
Mm.
So they ended up doing a DNA blood test on Natalia to prove her age. And they wanted to see if she was 6 at the age of adoption, which would make her 19, almost 20 during the time of the test.
A DNA can do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they just took like a tiny prick, like a diabetic prick. So they found that she was not 6, but she was also not 22.
She's somewhere in the middle.
When she was adopted, she was around 8 years old, which would make her 22 at the age of the test. That's why I think she's a part of human trafficking. When you do international adoption, it is quite common for altered birth certificates. They want to make you more adoptable by making you younger, which kind of explains, like, if later on, when she turned 9, she did start her period.
Yeah, that's what I was going back to.
Yeah. One thing I'll never understand is how eloquent she was. Like, yeah, she was 8 at the time, so I see that. But when she moved to the Westfield apartments, they were all convinced she was an adult, even though she had a childlike demeanor and she liked to play with the kids and she would just walk into people's houses. Like, that's what kids do. Kids don't really understand those boundaries, you know?
Oh yeah, I used to
Mhm.
have kids trying to roll around. Like, oh, stop it there, buddy.
So that is the case of Natalia Barnett, turned Natalia Mans. Who knows what kind of Natalia she'll be next season?
Sounds like it's not just her case.
There's so many people involved.
Uh-huh.
So many people. And there's a lot more details and there's a lot more to unpack, like different families that tried to adopt her. And you get to see Anagava, and she's just as pretty as her name. You sympathize with her.
I'm surprised you remember all these names and individuals because I got lost at right after Natalia. That was it. I'm like, oh, him, the dad, parents, dude, her.
I watched the documentary twice, and I did this once before and didn't realize I wasn't recording.
Yeah, but you have like a freaking memory like a sponge.
Yeah, I didn't actually look at my notes this whole time, which is why I had like a different kind of story flow than I planned, but it worked out.
Mhm.
So if you like this direction and you'd like to see more of cases being covered or like documentaries being explained or maybe even books, let us know. We're always looking for nice in between the trauma episodes because if we were just all trauma llamas, there's no there's no room for the fun llamas, you know? The fun Madonnas. I don't know what.
Madonnas.
I was trying to
I
keep
want
the
to
flow.
dance with somebody.
I wanted to. Is that Madonna? I don't know.
Is that McDonough? McDonough.
Mom was in the 80s. She loved Madonna. She tried to rip her style. She's a McDonough. So, anyways, we hope that you enjoyed it. And you deserved a great enjoyment and great entertainment. We hope we're able to do that for you. It is getting late. We never like record this late, so I'm ready for bed. On that note, I love you, bish.
Oh, I thought we were gonna do it together.
You said anything.
I was holding off. I thought she'd say first. I never stopped living.
You gotta say it at the same time.
But I don't know when she's
Okay.
saying it first.
You gotta cue him.
1, 2, 3. I ain't never gonna stop loving you.
Oh my god, you know what? You know what? I love you, bitch. I'll never stop loving you, bitch.
Oh, now my Siri's going off.
Bish.
Bish.
The bish dish.
The
The dishiest bish dish.
The dishiest, bishiest.
Oh my gosh.